Welcome, Rich Hoops pod fans. That is what just wrapped up the Nuggets survived the comeback. Now, through the first 2.5 quarters, it felt like nuggets. They came out originally with all the energy, all the hustle, and all of the heart. And it felt like through the first couple series for the Alley Lakers, those were some of the places that they were winning. They were winning on the hustle place. They were winning on the rebounder tip. And in this one, at least early on, it was a lot of Yogis. I mean, through the first half, Jokic had 19-16 and said, I don't know what the number was. It was something ridiculous where he looked like the best player in the world. It was a lot of Anthony Davis straight up. And then every once in a while, you'll get a little double team. And the goal of Yoga is one of the most difficult players to guard in the NBA because he is such a wizard when it comes to his passing where he's looking 2 to 3 steps ahead. They're like throwing a consistent double at him doesn't make a lot of sense because he trusts his teammates more than anybody involved, and he knows that they're going to hit shots eventually. So in those times, they were bringing those double teams. He's just kicking it out. Boom! You got Bruce Brown running the floor or hitting the open shot, and Yogi's dominating to 3 quarters. And then the fourth quarter came around. Actually, what the Lakers didn't start in the fourth quarter. It started in the third, where the offense started to turn around. I think they scored 36 points on 70. Shooting like the offense for the Lakers really got up to play in that third quarter. But they weren't so much of a hole that even them scoring 30-something points on 70. Shooting only got the lead down to like 6, down to like 8. And then the fourth quarter came around. And this is where things got interesting because Nikola Jokic didn't score in the fourth quarter into the last minute or so. And those are the free throws and the intentional foul. So what happened? He was the most dominant player in basketball for the first 3.5 quarter or 3 quarters. What happened in the fourth quarter? Darwin had made an endgame adjustment that is something that you don't see as often in the NBA. It usually takes, okay, game 1 and Nikola Jokic killed us. So let's start something new in game 2. Darwin had made 2 big adjustments that not just neutralize or slow down the Kolyogins, but it made it more tough for Jamal Murray. Early this game, there's a lot of possessions where Dennis Schroeder had the assignment on Jamal Murray and the intel was going to go under. And Jamal Murray was on fire off of that. And they really took advantage of the going under gameplay. And there was one specific play that I remember where he went under a screen and he had no help, no heads, no nothing. And Dennis Schroeder looked back at his guy's side. What's going on? And then after that possession, there was no more. Going under. He fought through every single one of those screens, and he's just made it more tough for Jamal Murray. And the biggest thing, the thing that I think that they can bring it to game 2 through whatever that can make the Lakers fans feel like, hey, we lost game 1, but I saw a lot of good stuff is to switch Anthony Davis off in the Nikola Jokic. Anthony Davis, is one of the best defensive players involved. We just saw for 2 series in a row where he was dominant in the paint. So the original idea was like, okay, Anthony Davis is one of the most dominant players in basketball on the defensive side, and Nikola Jokic, the most dominant offensive player, one of the most dominant offense player. We just going to let them go head to hand. And we're going to trust our guy Ad to get as many stops possible. They're not going to line stops, realistically. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of people in the current need that can guard Yoga one-on-one and cause him to miss a lot of shots. You know what I'm saying? But what they allowed Anthony Davis to switch on to the Jeff Greens of the world, to the Aaron Gordons of the world, and let Anthony Davis roam. And with that roaming and Rihachi Moore, kind of playing the fire hydro, PJ Tucker roller, just guarding Yoko's 101 and then allowing Anthony Davis to come over and to help and muddled up the game enough when the Kolyogins did not get any clean looks of the basket for an entire quarter. It's very similar to what Joe Mazzola ended up doing in Game 6 and Game 7, where when he started Robert Williams, he put Robert Williams on a non-shooter or what the team decided to be a non-shooter and let him just muck things up. And that's why Joel Embiid could have one of the reasons why Joel Embiid couldn't do much, or one of the reasons there was not a lot of lanes for James Harden to get to the basket. And when Anthony Davis was roaming, he was everywhere. He's got blocks. You know, a lot of things won't show up on a stat sheet, but his presence was well known. And now this offense that in the first recorders was looking legendary. I mean, they have, if I'm not mistaken, in the playoffs, the number 1 offense of the 4 teams remaining. Actually, I ain't got to move it. That's a fact. They've had the number one offense of the 4 teams remaining in the playoffs alone, and therefore they got a lot of more stagnation and a lot more, what's happened in type possessions. And on the other side of the ball, the Lakers are going on their run. Shots here near LeBron James and Anthony Davis are getting the good whistle. And boom, that lead, that was at 1.20. Something is now down 3, and we got a game where the people in Ball Arena are. Like, if we blow game 1, we have some huge trouble. Luckily enough, they got a couple. Possessions where LeBron James settled for 3, a little few 3 that he missed. Austin Reeves got another open look on the wing. In the same spot he had 2 of them, like 2 possessions ago, he missed that shot. And ultimately, the Nuggets ended up getting this win. But the reason I'm so excited for the rest of this series is because I know Mike Malone is not going to take that adjustment sitting down. They got him out of there with the win. They're undefeated at Ball Arena. So that's a dub. But even Mike Malone said after the third quarter, hey, they score X amount of points. So X amount of shooting. If we don't buckle down, they're going to take this game, and they almost did. So I know Mike Malone's going to have some type of game plan to kind of scheme against the idea of having Anthony Davis wrong. I just don't know exactly what that means. Because in this one, you did see Jeff Green take a 3 when Anthony Davis was wrong, and he hit that 3. I also saw a lot of Aaron Gordon kind of just sitting in the dunker spot when he was guarded by Anthony Davis, and that just makes it even more difficult. I know that Aaron Gordon is not some type of stretch where he's going to sit at the 3-point line and hit 6 threes if you leave him open. But he has to make himself more of a threat to make it so that Anthony Davis can't just park himself down in that pain to keep the game open for Jokic or the drivers and things like that. But what the Nuggets need to try to do maybe in game 2 is get back that energy and get back those fast break opportunities they got in the first half because they were running man. Bruce Brown, Jamal Murray. They just had so many possessions where I'm watching as a new fan, like, what are the Lakers going to get back on? Like, what are they doing? They came out the energy, and that energy may have not lasted the entire 48 minutes. But those spurts of energy was enough that even though you were gassed and almost out of it for the last couple, you had a little cushion. I want this series to be long, man. I can't lie to you. Bro, that game was too good, and it had no business being that good. The Lakers had no business coming back, but they put together stops and they got the offense going. There's a couple plays of this where Jokic, the shot that everybody's going to talk about from Nikola Jokic is the one where the game or the court is about to end and he just hoists up a shot where he looks so unorthodox about for Jokic. That's a pretty normal thing, and even Anthony Davis, who was guarding him, couldn't even believe the idea of that ball going in. And he just had to smile and walk it off like that's the type of gamesmanship that I'm kind of into, because what is he supposed to do there? And even to start the court of Jamal, Murder was guarded by LeBron James, and you like it. Me and the guys always say he's sitting in that show. He was in his stance like I love when a player. Just like, okay, I don't normally get like this, but we need to stop, and LeBron was sitting in that show, and Jamal Murder threw up some B's and it failed, and my boy Mike, who was watching this game on Twitch, he was like, man, if they didn't have those 2 shots, whether they was luck or not, if they had those 2 shots, this game is in overtime right now, and that's a fact. There was a 6-point game, and there's 2 threes that they made. The Lakers also did a really good job of winning. The 9 Jokic minutes like that, if there's a kryptonite to the Denver Nuggets, it is their ability to keep a lead or just maintain okay basketball when Nikola Jokic is off the floor, and that happened again today. Keep was great. I think Bruce Brown again gave really good minutes. Hachimura gave really good minutes, like again on the defensive side when he was guarding Jokic 101 and then waiting for the help that this is going to be a well-coached matchup, and I'm excited to see what each coach does next to see if this is going to go 7, is going to go 5, it's going whatever.